going through this. The fuck is that? Yo, that guy Dream, just let us know when we're live, dude, okay? Yo, that guy Dream, dude, just let us know when we're live, okay? Yo, that guy Dream, dude, just let us know when we're live, okay?
Are we in the Matrix? Dude, assume we're live. I don't know.
Just cast.
Assume we're live. No, we're not live. Dream is going to tell us when we're live. And welcome straight back into it. Not sure for how long we've been live, but you are very welcome nonetheless. It's another great evening for PUBG, and it's your boy Pop Boogie bringing you some hot, spicy matches here tonight. And of course, as a good surprise, we've got someone following us, co-casting along the line and bringing you the story for tonight. It's going to be WTF Moses. What's up, my man?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing quite well. Thanks so much.
How to do? Are you psyched as much as I am psyched to see the teams tonight?
I'm always psyched.
There you go. Nice.
Most of my life, I'm just walking around psyched.
It's got to be uncomfortable, man. I mean, did you try to see a doctor?
I just sweat constantly. It's really tough.
Oh, man. I can imagine. Walking around like a cowboy and whatnot. Look at Mini taking early shots, though, from Ultra, from Penta. Penta doing a bit of a cheeky strat. This is normally a compound where the current team Noxious, the previous Tiger Mafia, would normally go, right? So Mini probably thought that there's not going to be anybody else in his position. But Penta are trying a new drop zone. Let's have a look at the map and see where actually have they gone. Where could they have gone? The rest of Penta. I'm quite curious. They took Rashok. Okay. For how long have Penta been taking Rashok? Moses, give us a bit of insight here.
I think as far as what we've seen from them, they have taken, like the last time we saw them here was last week, and they held it to fairly good effect. What they have done is just, centered up Mini Fridge Jr. here, maybe putting a little bit of pressure onto Ultra, but ultimately they like to land here because as the circle closes, they've held this compound, and if you get lucky, you can just kind of hang out here because there's a lot of good spots to just chill. So game one last week was a really high-flying adventure there with them here, and maybe we'll see the same here game one this week.
All right. Hopefully that'll be the case indeed. In the meantime, there, Ultra, you can see he's put his hands on some level 2 armor and helmet, and he's got himself an M16 to work with as well. So Mini's got a bit of a disadvantageous position, especially considering that all he's got is bump shotgun and a level 1 armor. But somehow Ultra doesn't spot him, and now he's going to be making close to him as well. And looks like there's no intention for Mini to actually jump down. He probably heard Ultra trying to move in closer to his compound, so now he's going to be holding off to a stair angle, and this is a good compound. I want to point this one out where Mini is holding in. He's going to be blocking, Ultra, when he tries to enter, and he's going to have his weapon blocked by the door. So for a little sliver of a second, he won't be able to hold his gun up, but the door opens. Mini has the temptation to try and do something here. He's going to be retreating. Now he's going to be taking the shots. Mini connecting there, and it looks like Wookie Bookie is going to be somewhere else on the map, but Mini, in the meantime, finds the kill. The down first.
Interesting push. No trade. No trade there available for Penta. Ultra pushed that all on his own with no support, and Mini Fridge with the pump shotgun, decently geared, but was able to convert on that. So, gotta wonder why Ultra pushes in that situation.
Yeah, that is a good question indeed. He wanted to make sure that he's got an easy exit. He didn't necessarily know where his other enemies were, so that's what I'm assuming, right? He wanted just to make sure that wherever he would go, that he's not going to get locked down. And, well, turns out that he did. But, yeah, there you go. First circle shows up, and is indeed one circle that sees another team lose their normal looting spot because they knew that a lot of teams were going to be going to North George, but none of them actually did. You can see TSM smack dab in the middle of it. They're going to be quite pleasured to find out that they're in the middle of the circle, of course. Method making that well-known at this stage early rotation. Method are... super fast looters, pretty much the fastest looters you've seen in your life. and they're already on the trail to find themselves a decent compound in the first white. So there you go.
So we've actually seen a bit of a trade here with TSM normally opting for the Georgia Pool northern area, now moving over to the Yasnaya area. So I think this will allow them a little bit more flexibility when it comes to maneuvering away. Yasnaya a little bit easier to get away from than North George, and typically North George won't be in the circle. Yasnaya sometimes, well, actually often is. So at least the first case. So method, I think, looting very quickly. We see here Mark 14 floating down with a nice ghillie suit. Someone pretty close by. It looks like Wookie Bookie is relatively nearby. So Lumbermill might find themselves a bit of a crate action here if they're lucky.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I was actually talking recently to a pro, and what they've been telling me most is that some people use the Mark 14 as a wrong kind of rifle or the wrong kind of weapon. Some of them try to use it long range, which is a bit of a, it's got less of a recoil, I suppose, than the SKS, but it's not that far away from it if you're not fully, if it's not fully decked out. What this guy has been telling me, though, and it's actually Larson from the IGL of Team Kingwin, he was saying, just put a red dot on it, put it on full auto, and it's the best breaching and defending weapon ever in the world. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
an interesting take.
Yeah, I think it can pull double duty. I would agree that it is definitely an upgrade from the SKS, but in this meta, you don't see too many SKSs in use. I mean, from time to time, but the double AR, just considering how much more prevalent they are in the map to find them, you'll see double AR a lot more. SKS sometimes, but realistically, having a fully kitted SKS is not gonna be more likely than finding a fully kitted AR. So in that case, you're absolutely right. The damage and the amount of fire rate and just the pure output of DPS will make that gun just amazing in close quarters.
Absolutely. Absolutely, indeed. Method in the meantime are going to be scouting for a not necessarily safe place. TSM are going to be facing them here, it seems. Break does not take any shots. Aim might, just to try and scare them away. This is a powerful compound, mind you. So TSM being here first, they're going to have definitely an upper hand. Some shots are being taken, indeed. Method will get sprayed down, but actually none of them seem to connect. So Turtle and Layden are going to be quite happy to move at this moment in time. There's no need for them to stick around for too long. For a moment, they thought that the same team, or rather two members from the same team, were passing north of them, so that's why they took shots at the other car. But now that they know that they're not, one with another, they're going to be
not welcome
from their position, and that as well. They're going to be moving out from their position and taking another compound, which is pretty decent here. It's a bit in the open, that one there, that Method have gone now. But the good thing about that compound is that you're not going to get surprised from pretty much anywhere. You can see Turtle now making his move into the house. There's not a lot of closed space next to this little building, and not a lot of cover either, because it's pretty much a one room type of deal, which kind of reminds me of my home. Rip. Capstar Life. What can I say, man? Capstar Life. I mean, we need to get up there with the with the Dota guys or the LOL guys.
They're just living in mansions, lavishly, servants, all that kind of stuff,
Absolutely. I mean, I applied to work for them. I mean, that's how good they live. I applied to clean their house. But then again, I'm Romanian. Have a look at Crip and Crisp here from Team Noxious, trying to find their own home. Not an easy task when a lumber mill already have it. So yeah, the search for rent continues.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting transition here. Most teams actually not quite near the edge of the zone yet. There are lots of available spots, but the desire for a center-based compound in this spot where most of the map is still in the water leaves a little bit to be desired here. We see Method trading out some shots on the transitioning Purge Gaming here, who has found themselves up in this little compound here. This is actually probably one of the better spots available. Lots of vehicles. It looks like Sam's hot car lot out there, so lots of USs at their disposal.
Absolutely, and that makes for an easy rotation later on to the game. A very, very powerful kind of technique that the pros use if you're in here for the first time and you're not necessarily sure. I can see the chat now. LOL, you're freaking live. You are live. You have been live for like 10 minutes.
Perfect. Excellent. Excellent.
Happy freaking days.
Yeah, game one is always the best game. Where you're just at least we didn't say anything horrible. But
we didn't know. Look, Moses, let's wash our hands.
Hot mic? Are you saying?
We had no idea we had hot mics, but it's fine. It looks like chat is entertained, so I'm quite happy with that.
I'm glad entertainment is the key.
Man, it is, especially in PUBG.
We were talking a little bit about this in the pre-broadcast that maybe I'm not sure if anybody heard about it or not, but we were talking about TSM
the
and
thing?
Yeah, well, that was a little bit before, I think, but
Oh, right, okay.
we'll keep that between you and I. Like the
Literally.
TSM struggles in last week's games to kind of figure out how their rotations are affecting their mid and late game, and we see now they've changed up their strat in the early game, no longer opting for North George. How do you think that this change, now that they found themselves in the first circle, not having to transition super late, even though they are split, is that something that you're going to want to actively change, or is that something that they're just kind of taking to heart, or something they want to try out before their next appearance in Katowice here in the next 20 days, I would say?
Yes.
Good. Excellent. Well, I mean, it's you got to wonder, like, TSM, they're skilled. They're skilled players. Like, they're skilled players. They're not one to back away from a fight, but they find themselves out of position with their rotations, and that's really hampering their ability to, make plays. Because if your positioning and your movement is difficult, then your firefights are going to be even more difficult.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. I don't think they necessarily have the option to do too much about their looting grounds specifically, because as we go closer to LAN events, to Katowice, to PGL, to everything that's got the star ladder, all that kind of good stuff, teams have already established themselves up on the map, right? So you can't just all of a sudden change your looting position here. I mean, like, teams are gonna challenge you for that one. The teams that normally go there. So rotation wise, yeah, I think it should be done much earlier than they normally would. But then again, that's part of their strat, I suppose. These late rotations coming in when the server is gone. It's just a TSM kind of signature move, isn't it?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, and Break invoking his streamer loot card here, an unknown power up in PUBG, summoning a crate right to their location, managing to find a 249 and a level 3 vest. Not sure if he switched out his weapons there. I imagine so. I don't know if their loot was good enough to ignore 249. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, having those solidified loot locations, I suppose now would be the time, especially with they have a little bit more space here. 16 teams participating. The options for looting are a little bit better. Not to mention the rotation's a little bit easier. But is no one interested in that? Are we not?
Okay.
I'll have it if no one else is. I mean,
yeah. Are you that guy?
Well, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know what the. Oh, hey, what's going on? Real ZX, his vehicle's on fire. He seems to have knocked himself out.
Man, Zenta had a rough start here.
Yeah, maybe Zenta landed some shots and he wound up crashing or dove out a little bit early. Real ZX still out there, but receiving fire now from the red dot from long distance.
That's what happened. That is exactly what happened, Moses. You freaking Einstein. He dove off his car early because he knew it was going to blow up.
Yeah.
And with that, he got himself knocked out. Probably got a bit of a damage dealt to him. He probably thought he would have been safe to get out, but he probably didn't take the full amount of damage to get knocked out. He was getting dinked by his enemies. Now, let's have a look at the circle here. Break has put his hands on an M249 and has taken plenty of shots. Stab's not going to be too impressed, though. Neither will be Mini, crossing by like it's nobody's business. Of course, oh no, never mind. Aim is going to be the one that takes him down with the AK long range. This guy knows his freaking AKs, man. Lately, Marius has been showing us that he can take down people from cars with the least likely of weapons. When a car moves fast past you, the 7.62 slow moving bullet, very hard to hit your mark, but this guy somehow does it. Gustav in the meantime sent to scout something. He's not going to be stopping there because there's a full squad coming in against him. A new squad, by the way. Congratulations to Rogue, former Air Station Mike, for getting signed up. This is great news, Moses.
Yeah, absolutely. Air Station Mike has been performing very well. We see them in the top end of a lot of the games, especially last week where we had, again, I think it was they went up against Penta in the first game, ended up folding under the pressure a little bit there, but ultimately they've showcased excellent movement, great team fighting, and we might see one coming up here very quickly.
Ewan moves on to the side there. I'm going to be holding on to his M4 with a hollow on the top, and that's going to be just enough. Gustav now will be knocked out and taken down. His teammates playing as threes. They have their hands at Harry Potter. No, not a Harry Potter. They actually have a. Well, what do they have? I'm not too sure what they did have in the spot on the map. But
where's Break?
That. Yeah, there you go. Break won't be taking any shots. Neither will Aim. Oh, actually, he will. His door is open. He's actually going to be finding some shots as well. So this is what he had. He had a hollow on that AK, and that's how he knocked a player earlier on. That is not too bad.
Yeah, Minifridge took a bit of damage from Break's M249 as he was trying to transition past Break, actually having just this random point where, I guess Zotinam is going to opt for the second circle water strat with no pressure on them in a 16-team meta. Fair enough. all right. I mean, there's no one, 400 meters away from you, but let's just make sure that the water's nice and warm. But
Why? But why?
just forcing it. But the 249 doing some damage there. Dingle rapes, getting some shots put onto him there. And I guess all of Nam is going to just opt for the water here.
There you go. And it's an interesting trap, Moses, because normally what you see is teams that would normally go as threes to a compound. If it's a big water circle, they would send one guy into the water just as some sort of a ticket to safety, as some sort of an insurance replacement. But this time around, Nam felt a bit thirsty.
Boogie, the circle hasn't even finished moving yet. Like, that circle might just adjust the water here in about 10 seconds. Like, they might have to now run up the beach against Pittsburgh Knights, and they're going to have to try and dodge this 8x. So this is an interesting move, and I'm not sure of the motivation, but we'll see if it pays off. If the circle favors the water again, then maybe it'll pay off. But right now, Knights has wide open shots on them if they have to come out of the water.
Absolutely. And what they also have, Knights, is a handy compound that they could take on. They don't necessarily want to do that because they're going to be losing the 2+2 line of sight. Their teammates are up to the north. Their Survivor and Dre the Don scouting in their compound to the south there, but this compound will not provide any vision to their teammates. So as of yet, they're not moving in. Or are they going to be moving out? No, that's just a bit of a bait shot from Survivor, trying to see if anybody peeks out the windows. And now that they know that there's nobody there, they're actually going to be going for that compound. Interesting. Playing this 2+2, taking as much real estate as possible, just to make sure that the next circle includes them, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and we'll see here shortly. We did have a new zone pop, so it looks like Nam is going to be in the zone for now. But ultimately, the rotation, it favors him fairly heavily. So I guess I'll have to retract my previous statement. Good work using the water to your advantage, Nam. I guess you have better foresight into how these circles will pop than I did. But we see her method also rotating closer to the zone. I think they're probably going to opt for the edge strat here. I don't know how too many more teams are going to try and get in the water here. It will eventually adjust some of that out, and it might be a very heavy adjustment, or it might still kind of keep some in there, but that remains to be seen.
Absolutely. And this time around, they're going to be sticking here, just trying to make sure that the compound they're in is safe. They're, in all technicality, the fact that they actually have a compound in this circle is nothing short of a wonder, because there's not a lot of houses in this one here. Where Stab is right now on the top side, there are a few good houses that some teams could take. But yeah, it's a bit of an issue there. So we've just heard news. We're going to be talking to our producer directly.
Ooh.
We've just heard news that a car is going to blow up. Jazza is going to be making sure of it. Or is this going to be taken out of the game there? YZK actually taking shots himself. Nearly on 5 HP. Will be going for the res. I'm not too sure. Oh, it's Blade Cito that actually took the shots. And LFO seem to have lost themselves a frag. No chance for it here as a rogue. Dip on the other side of the hill. Now, let's have a look at the circle again. Let's have a discussion and talk about where would it be nice to actually hold from this circle, because pretty much the entirety, well, sorry, it's restricted now. Pretty much the entirety of compounds might just actually be taken out.
Yeah, and as far as the amount of circles that are available goes, we have seen in the past that as the circles close, the water will come out. It does tend to adjust that water, and that'll make it very difficult. So I'm thinking coastal and just natural cover would be good. But you did see a few, specifically the Knights, having a good position on the map. That's going to lead to just easier transitions as time goes along.
Yes, sir. And we're having some technical difficulties here. Don't worry about it, guys. We're going to be coming back in just a few minutes. Our observer just made us aware right now that there's indeed a problem. And we will be returning to the game pretty soon. So in the meantime, while we have the lights off, do you want to say something sensual to the chat, perhaps, Moses?
No, these crashes can occur from time to time. We're booting back into the game here very quickly.
Wow,
so
you're starting off real hot there.
Yeah. Sultry talk is not my forte. I can't say on the spot. You're looking great today, Boogie. You're looking great. I really like the salad you were consuming earlier. I think that's a really healthy choice. Really think that from time to time you got to mix it up, though. Maybe have a burger. You're wasting away.
Literally just ate KFC before the game started.
Dude, I thought the crunching was salad. No, wow, that is some crunchy chicken, dude.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
No, it's just because when you have a cast and you have a full-time job, you don't necessarily have time to cook any food. So I thought, what's the fastest way for me to actually get home and start the cast in time? The sacrifices that we make for you, chat. These
How
are
greasy is your keyboard right now?
No. It never is. I'm always sure to wipe when I'm done.
Great. That's good personal hygiene.
That was a good discussion. I hope no one just tuned in at that point there. That would make things a bit awkward. Here comes Dingle Ribs. The lads have taken out of the water, and they know that Nice were playing here earlier on. They're going to be happy to learn that they're still here. Draydon is going to be taking some shots in return, but it's not going to really matter. Karama will actually smoke off Zerk Nam. Not too sure what the smoke is about to do, but at least perhaps.
I know the idea.
A little bit of a chance.
The idea is to he landed the smoke a little too short. He was trying to break the LOS between the Knights and Zok Nam as they're pressing through the rocks here. But what Kramer needed to do was press up and then, you know, flank, because they have two on that side and now already losing one. They're going for a res here. Knights high risk res with teams right next to him. They are going to knock it or get it off there. So Broder jumping over, getting another knock. So right now Zok Nam coming out of the water and taking it to the Pittsburgh Knights.
There you go, Broder's going to be taking one down, and another Dingle Rebs with the current 98. Let's see if he can extra shot there. Survivor will be peeking out. Dingle Rebs actually didn't have any bullets in him, so they're just going to have to reload his car. In the meantime, Draydon has the option to try and do some sort of a cheeky flank. And also Krama making a move where they haven't actually spotted him. I'm not too sure if Krama has been spotted at this moment in time, but it looks like Voxic is going to be going... Sorry, Draydon is going to be going for the res on Voxic, as Zerk and Nam were going for a res onto their own. So this is a fair fight at this moment in time, and with Survivor's side angle, this might be better for the Knights, but we're about to find out how it goes. Yes, there you go. Krama finds the second knockout against Zerk Nam, and this starts to get real dangerous for them.
So it looks like now all of a sudden Zok Nam has just got caught up on those rocks, unable to navigate properly. All kudos to Knights having gone down in that fight 2-4 and then recovering and then wiping out Zok Nam. So that's a really well executed reversal of fortune there.
Here's something I don't understand. There's just as much water in this circle, or well, compared rationally, you know, as it was in the previous one. Why did Zok Nam initially go into the water and then
have to come out
fully come out, not even leaving one guy?
I think they might have had fewer transition options for the next circle, having all of the compounds being taken, their vehicle transitions being pressured. Maybe they had no option to get into the water. We see Penta now way out on the edge of the zone, opting to just play for placement at this point, as Noxious has the best available compound along with Knights there in the south.
And you can kind of understand why Penta will go at this stage. They're playing as twos this time around. It kind of makes a bit more sense, I suppose. There's not a lot of cover. There's just a few trees and a few compounds here. Definitely not the best place to be in right now. Method taking some shots. Do you know where their enemies are? So they're going to be avoiding them. This is again a fight with TSM. That a fight's not going to be breaking off unless AIM can connect the shots here, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be this way this time around. So Method are quite safe where they are, but not all of them actually. Andy and one of his teammates are in a different one. It's Turtle actually that Andy is with. Turtle is the one that's not driving. Oh, there you go. The 2+2 comes in, and Andy and Turtle, well, they're going to be turtling in under the sea, I suppose.
If depending on how Rogue, formerly Air Station Mike, handles this, you see them taking down Chronix here out of his vehicle. If Rogue can manage to secure the split up Knight compound, Rogue will have the ability to use that coastal cover to prevent people from coming out. So if they can displace the Knights, I think Rogue will be in a great position here. But really, it's up to Knights now to maintain what I believe is the best position in the game.
Yes, indeed. Exalt Gaming are in a dire position. Brexco has been taken down. But it doesn't look like there's anybody left from Exalt Gaming. Nope, there's 12 teams left alive, and 13 were just a second ago. So I'm assuming that was indeed the closer, the finisher. Two other players taking damage. Wick and Sane not looking good at all. Well, Wick will be peppered in with shots, of course, already being knocked out. There's no chance for any of his teammates to get a res, and the one that's actually close to him doesn't have that chance either because, well, he's going to be knocked out as well. Nice as well with the infusion of loot. I was just about to point this one out by Zerk and Nam, bringing them pretty much all they need. But this time around, there's someone coming in from the backside. Fawn put some shots into the Knights, and that headshot did connect beautifully. So there's going to be some healing due.
Yeah, the nades now coming out back from Zarki, having snuck around the edge of the zone and now into the rocks themselves. Have a decent cover here, and they have to be careful not to get too far down these cliffs or they will get stuck. But they have no approach to Knights because those rocks are just going to prevent it. So they are going to opt to go all the way down, playing the mountain goat role, trying to find a way into the water themselves. But I think that this is a position where you maybe want to push that team fight on the Knights, even though the positioning is not quite as good, but they're just essentially giving it up right now, unless there's some high level strat here that I'm unaware of. But now Knights having to move as well. Water still staying in. This just might be a survival move right now from Zarky.
Absolutely. And you can see that there's already one member of Method just waiting to greet the lads from back from Zarky. Turtle's got to be closer to the actual beach. Move our attention somewhere else, though, where Crip is trying to make a move with his squad, but TSM is going to be spotting him. Mario's taking the shots there. Crip doesn't seem to be too phased about it. The SKS will be put to good use, and it looks like TSM have lost a member, so they will have to go for the res, which puts them at a very slight disadvantage at this moment in time. But the fact that they're closer to the circle will make this a bit easier. They're Crip, though, taking a lot of damage here.
Nice.
His teammates, I'm not too sure if they have taken damage as well. APR coming in with those sexy 4x AK shots. And he's going to be knocking Crispy down. That's a dangerous spot right now for Noxious Gaming, but APR eats up a heck of a lot of damage, and the blue is coming in against him. He knows that he has to bandage, and that is exactly what he does indeed. Super smart at him, but now he needs to move out of his current spot, and there he goes from Mr. TV, knocking him out of the park. Smack, Break, and Vis still alive though, so they could continue this fight right after they get themselves into a nicer position.
Yeah, Marius did a great job of distracting that team as they were trying to get in on them. Awesome Nox had to almost sacrifice himself while his break was being rezzed. So TSM staying 3 up here and now on the position in the zone to continue to put pressure onto Noxious Gaming as they go almost all the way out of the game. Crip, the last remaining member. So TSM managing that fight fairly well, going one down, but still able to maintain their strength going into the end game.
Here's a backstab coming in from Draydon. The Rogue. Are they going to be expecting this one? Well, we're about to find out. Draydon sees a heck of a lot of smoke, so he knows that something's well, at least one member is in that one. So he won't be actually pushing too hard. Instead, will be opting to come closer to his teammates. They will be using the UAZ as cover. They don't necessarily have anything else to use, and this is a fight that they can no longer deny. And I'm talking about back from Jarky that will meet up with the Knights right here and now. Krama will know that there's someone to his right, so he will be holding on to the angle. Let's see if he'll be able to spot them in time, though. He's making a heck of a lot of noise right now. M4 Hollow prepped up. Put on full auto. This thing becomes a beast. But will he be able to actually release the beast and put it to good use? It looks like Voxic will. Now Krama comes in with the frag as well. Looks and Fawn. Look at the little hermits just behind a rock, just hiding, making sure that they stay alive. And this they will. They can push as late as possible. And that's actually a good spot that they're in right now because their enemies close to them are getting peppered in by Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw there, I think that it might have been Andy that did the primary damage there. Voxic also supporting, but Krama was able to jump around and steal that kill there as Andy is now holding the only spot in the zone right now. No other teams in the zone just yet. The Water Boys chilling next to them. So Andy having a pretty good spot with those UAZs. We'll see if Method can reform in that area as we see TSM now pressing towards the Knights, putting some damage onto them. So if TSM can rotate that way and clear out the Knights, they might have a decent path there, but they're going to have a lot of pressure, a lot of sight lines onto their spot right now.
Yes, indeed. And let's see if the rest of the Method can connect as well, because they're about to go into a very, very open area. And just to their north, they will have a lot of contact. There is a team currently north of Turtle. We'll see how that one pans out. In the meantime, though, Lux has been taken out of the game. The push wasn't as late as they would have hoped for, so back from Sharky are going to be taken out. Now, this game's putting in some shots against the Knights, and there's not a lot of them left alive. Voxic now with a sliver of life left. I'm not too sure who took him down, but it might have been Andy indeed, as two of the Knights will be holding up close. No, actually, it's got to be one of them left as Krama goes down. So now Draydon has a very hard task of trying to avoid the entirety of, well, not the entirety, but 3 members from TSM will be holding into the smoke because there's nothing else to use as cover. That tree is indeed usable, but the fact that there's a team pushing in from his west makes things that much harder. And, well, TSM want this frag right now. They need to take it. Otherwise,
yeah, TSM needs to speed it up. They need to speed it up here. They're getting a little bit of pressure from the zone, but they're going to lose that flat cover that they've been using to move in avoid line of sight here as Drayden, just holding this tree down here. I think that one of these guys needs to peek this ridge. It looks like it might be Break. Smack there to trade, but they have just completely halted their movement, making a little bit of noise here. Longo still hanging out. LFO, the last man standing, looks like. Ooh, maybe not, so now no longer standing. But yeah, TSM is in a decent spot right now, but I was hoping they would press over and try and finish off Knights.
They'll stick around for as long as they can, of course. Smack prone in with the M249. Not going to have any vision, but then again, the point is not to have vision. The point is to stay safe at this moment. Toxic putting shots against what will be soon the whole lineup, or two of the guys from TSM. As actually Mikas comes in with the frag, so Vexed helping out Voxic. And, well, I'm not too sure. I think he's got a teammate close to him as well. Ooh, Mikas as well, taking Smackdown here. And, this game's now all that remains for TSM, but now he's going to have to make his way into a very, very dangerous spot, and there it goes. Fist Games gets annihilated. There's one more guy. There's Break still left. Break, what can he do in this situation? Not too much. He's got a tree to work with here. Taking some shots, but not connecting. So Drayden puts him to sleep. And now Drayden can actually rotate into the safety of the white, and they're going to have themselves a very powerful place to work with here, because there's not a lot of teams left at this moment in time.
I really would have liked to see TSM press over and finish off Knights there. They had the time and space to at least push as a team and take that team fight. Knights have now rotated over to where we saw Andy before, so Knights now taking over a decent spot as it now looks like Vexed and his partner up there, Raz Mickey, are going to be able to hold up that. So Vexed Gaming, or sorry, just Vexed is going to be able to hold that spot there as the water guys are now completely eliminated, and now it's a 2v2, I guess.
Yep, 2v2 in terms of squads, 2v3 in terms of numbers. We'll have a look at Voxic now, putting a UAZ closer to the circle. Got to be using that one as cover, and that one's got to be very, very good, because right now there's no trees, there's no cover, there's no nothing. Drayden trying to go for the side flank here. Might just spot at Raz, but Raz knows that there's enemies up close at the top of the hill. Can he do it? No, he can't.
Yeah, they got it. I think Knights here, and this is similar with TSM, just pop over and see if you can get some vision, at least spot it out for your teammates, because right now Raz Mickey has had the opportunity to crawl a little bit closer to Vox, like within nade range. They have spotted out another player there. So Raz Mickey, the last man standing, taking some shots, downing one. Ooh, almost downing one, I should say.
That's him. That's him. That's him alone. And it's not going to be an easy task to stay alive for too long. Nope, it's going to be coming in. And that is it. The Knights take the GG and the chicken dinner for the first one indeed. A beautiful effort out of them. Indeed, a very good effort by Vexed and LFO with Dynamic, I think it was, staying alive to put his team on third place. Not a bad performance at all. Penta coming in on fourth, and of course TSM on the fifth position. Not an easy circle for absolutely anybody here, Moses.
No, it was tough, and you can see that as the Knights, moving through that end game, picked up, I think, more kills than almost every other team combined at this point. So not a lot of options for engagements here, but ultimately the Knights managed that little coastal position very, very well. Took out a couple of different teams on the way to a victory here. TSM had the option to move over and maybe take it to them with those two members left remaining, but ultimately Drayden holding it together with 10 individual kills. That's a great effort by him alone. So good first game, and maybe we'll see some more options with the circle next game.
There you go. Bit of a break. We'll be coming right back at you. And the next one, don't go anywhere, or do. But we'll see you back in a few minutes. Peace.